In this video, we will compare Camel's Titanium White with Camel's Flake White hue. Now, same color white, but with two different names. So does these two different names makes a difference? In real world usage, that means in a painting. That is what we are going to find out in this video. We will see if there is one color which is better over the other, and if there is, which one? This one or this one? We will see there is any area in painting where one excels over the other, all these things. And obviously, color comparison is not done without technical information, so all that as well. But first of all, we'll take a look at the tube itself, try to see all the information that the brand has to offer about these colors. Okay. First of all, Titanium White, which has a color number of 423. Doesn't matter, I know, but okay, for some it does. But then there is one more number, 209 in bracket for Titanium White. So I believe that's a pigment code, but I'm not sure because there is no other information, extra information about pigment in the tube itself or in their website. So I'm not really sure. That number from me is just a guess. Okay, but then underneath that there are three more information which is quite important, so I want you to pay attention. Okay, first of all, there is an alphabet A. What that means? That is permanence rating of a color. In Camel there are three permanence rating, A, B, C. A means absolutely permanent. If you don't know this, if you pay attention, I bet it's gonna help you. So please pay attention. There are three permanence rating in Camel, A, B, C. A means absolutely permanent. B means permanent, simply permanent. C means durable color. Absolutely permanent, if a color has a rating of A permanence rating, that means it is absolutely permanent. But what that means to us practically, that means no matter how we use it, it is not going to fade. When we use this as a mask tone, glazes, washes, it is not going to fade. I will get to these words in a second if you don't know. But it can show a negligible bit of fading in reduced tones. This is what they say, okay? A mask tone means when you use this color straight out of the tube without harassing it in any way. Glazes means you are mixing medium with it, linseed oil. Washes, you are giving a wash of this color. Turpentine, mixing with turpentine. Reduced tone, you are mixing white with it. Reduced tone, it is only going to fade, may not, negligible, and even then negligible, just a slight bit in reduced tone. Otherwise it is not going to fade however you use it. And this is the case when a color has a permanence rating of A, and Titanium White has A permanence rating. But again, as I said, this is what they say. I have not tested it, and certainly that is not possible, feasible. How will I do that? It requires some kind of equipment or maybe a laboratory to test the permanence rating of a color. And if I do it in a traditional way, that means I have to wait for decades and decades to see if the color is fading or not. So that is not possible. And this is what they say. This is what we agree on. Okay. Now, series number. Just after that. Okay. So Titanium White has a series number 1. What that means? That is a way to categorize these products according to their price ranges. Okay, series 1 is the cheapest and the maximum is series 4, which is the most expensive. In series 4 generally you will see colors like cadmiums, you will see colors like copper, gold, stuff like that, which is maybe hard to make or the pigment is kind of expensive. This one is cheap, but not really. And lastly, there is one black square box. What that means? That is opacity level, opaqueness of a color. In Camel there are three opacity levels: opaque, semi-transparent, which is also called translucent, and transparent. Titanium White is opaque. In fact, Titanium White is one of the most opaque colors out of all. What makes it opaque? The light reacts in a different way for these colors. The way the light behaves tells us the opacity of the color. Less the light passes through that paint, more the opaque the color is. Why less light passes? It's because of pigment size. Bigger the size of the pigment, light can't really penetrate in between because there is less binder in it, and more pigment size blocking the area, so light can't penetrate. And this is why colors with bigger pigment size are opaque. This has a really big pigment size, okay? But now then smaller pigment sizes, let's just say a transparent color, vermilion hue. One of my good colors, good for glazing, that's why. So vermilion hue has really small pigment size, so there is a lot of space in between. to disturb. So light disturbs it, light penetrates it, because this is just nothing but binder, that means oil. These are pigment, this is binder, oil, easily light can pass through it, and then we can see the color underneath there. So this is a black color, okay. Now you put white in it and light can't pass through it, so you can't see what's inside of it, underneath it, but now it's black and now it's vermilion hue since it's transparent. Since the pigment size is small, you take it and there is so much of space, light goes in it and you can see the underneath color. In our case, black. This is how it works. This is all you should know for now. And that's just about it. There is no extra information about binder. If they are using linseed oil or safflower oil, there is no information regarding drying time. There is no information regarding pigment, as I said. So this is all we get. Now we'll take a look at the tube of flake white tube, which has a color number of 126, and in bracket, which as I said could be pigment code, but that's a guess, is 201 for flake white hue. And underneath that, all the information I said about titanium white goes for flake white hue as well. That means permanence rating A, CDs 1, opaqueness opaque. So if everything is same, where's the difference? Let's test it out. We will find it out. Okay, first of all, texture. And now here's the tricky part. See, I am reviewing these colors as they are. Okay, there is a standard, and it's better if all the brands follow that standard, stick to the standard, world standard average. But these colors are a little behind that standard, and I'm talking about world standard. How we get world standard? By seeing average, by taking out average, by seeing the various brand who rules this paint industry all over the world, and we get an average. And then we compare it with this brand. Since I'm talking just about this brand, I'm going to say how these colors are and now how this color should be. So according to world standard, titanium white should have kind of like buttery and soft texture to it. But in this case, in Camel's case, it is not like that. It is much more dense, granularly. Now, I'm not telling this is bad. I'm just differentiating it, okay? I'm differentiating how it differs from world average and how it differs from the contender. In our case, it is flake white hue. So titanium white has a texture of very dense, thick and granularly, which makes it ideal choice for impasto style painting, abstract style painting, loose painting, mask tone when used as a mask tone. Right, example is right behind you. See how I'm trying to dominate that whole area with just one color, that is white. I'm using white as a color. Generally we use white for what? For lightening a color, stuff like that. I'm not using for that. I'm using white. I'm giving white a shape. I'm giving white a matter for that painting. Okay, and when you do that, you can use titanium white. Why? Because it is opaque, it is bright, it is white. If you want one white, whitest of all, brightest of all, it would be titanium white. Okay, it is opaque, it has a really strong covering power. That means if a color is there and you can use this color as a gesso. I will explain all this. I will visualize this with the help of that painting. First of all, we will take a look at the texture of flake white hue, which has a really buttery and soft texture. But according to world standard, it should have stiff texture. The consistency should be stiff and buttery. Why? Because flake white hue is made up of combination of titanium white plus zinc white. Now zinc white is really stiff. So there should be some characteristics similar to zinc white with flake white hue, but there is not. It is much more buttery and soft. And now why this difference? This difference because maybe they are using some different kind of oil to bind it. They are using some different kind of pigment, maybe some inferior pigment to combine this, and this is why difference occurs. Because you see, all the top brands have a really high price range, and now these are budget oil colors, so it's not possible to have similarities and still be so cheap. So there's got to be difference. And yeah, okay. Now if they are used according to world standard, flake white hue should have safflower oil instead of linseed oil as a binder. But now I'm not really sure. So maybe all this difference makes the difference in texture, in terms of what? Tinting strength, temperature and all these things, okay? It is going to vary. If the making process is some different, the outcome will be different. Okay, now I will take help of that painting. As I said, we'll try to visualize the usage of these colors. Okay, So first of all, titanium white, as I was talking, you can use it as a milestone when you are trying to dominate one area with just white like this. You can use this as gesso. Suppose you are not happy with this painting and you want to cover this whole thing with white, you can use titanium white. Why? Because it has a really strong covering power. It is going to hide this color underneath. How opaque this is. You can use this painting when you are doing impasto style painting. Now I am not an impasto style painter, but I certainly do loose painting. I will show you an example. Here it is. So this is a loose painting with some dust in it, so don't mind the dust, but just see the painting itself, okay? Now here, this part. Loose painters need the color to retain its shape, value. Impasto style painter as well. They want the color to retain the shape, they want the color to be thick and dense, so they build layers and layers. Because they work with palette knife or even a brush, and what they do, they throw the colors in a pattern to create illusion of realism. This is what I say. They don't really try to mix with it like medium or turpentine. They just take it straight out of a tube and just throw it in one sitting, and that's it. So we want the color to retain the shape so that it can build 3D effect, which we can get from titanium white. It would be more efficient, okay? And now abstract style painting. Now if you are an abstract style painter, you want your color to be pure, because abstract style painters show the color in their true form, really bright lustrous color. So titanium white is white and bright. Use that. It would be more efficient. It would be your ideal choice over flake white hue. On the other hand, flake white hue has a really minimal usage, straight up. One major use of flake white hue is glazing. Yes. Why do you know? Now, I'm not really sure if this flake white hue is actually a combination of zinc white plus titanium white, but zinc white is one of the most excellent color when it comes to glazing, and so is flake white hue in this case as well. You see here in this painting, this part, this is glazing. Now why we do glazing and what is glazing, the history of it, I'm not going to say anything like that, but I will tell you this. If you do glazing with flake white hue, it would be more efficient. Why? Because flake white hue is much more milder. It is not as dominant as titanium white. It is not powerful as titanium white. A little bit of titanium white is going to go a long way. So when you do glazing, you will have to be extra careful. Glazing needs transparent colors. And if I have to say which one is more transparent, although in tube what we just saw, both the colors have opaque label on it, but ask me, flake white hue is much more transparent than titanium white. Okay? So use flake white hue. It would be ideal choice, at least in this situation where we are comparing these two colors, okay? Now, that's just about it. So now you know which color you should get as a primary white color, and it would be titanium white because it has more usage and is better overall. See, the thing is, titanium white can do everything what flake white can do. In some areas, in less efficient way. One is glazing, but then ask again, how many times you actually glaze in a painting, okay? So that's it. Now we will talk about tinting strength, we will talk about temperature, drying time and all these things, okay? Technical stuff. Tinting strength. So the thing is, both the colors have a really good tinting strength, especially titanium white. A little bit of it is going to go a long way, as I said. Now what is tinting strength? Definitely I'm not going to talk about that, you should know as an old painter. But see, the thing is, titanium white can dominate any color which you mix with it, and it can make the color more dull, obviously a tint of it, pale, light color. Let's just say vermilion hue. So this is vermilion hue, this is titanium white. A little bit of titanium white has the power to drag this color, vermilion hue, which is bright red pink, to his side. That means it's gonna make it unsaturated. Okay, but because white is what? A neutral color, it's going to make an unsaturated. White is over there up at top, it is not gray or black, it's going to pull it over there. It's going to make the color dull, unsaturated, light, pale pink. This is how it works. A little bit of it has the power to drag any color to his own side. On the other hand, flake white hue, you will need more of that color. Okay, now it's just about preference. It's not about like because tinting strength is so strong, titanium white is not ideal for color mixing. It's just about preference and your style of painting. Okay, so there is nothing wrong with titanium white or flake white hue, just because you need more color of flake white hue to mix a color to make it dull, pale, light, unsaturated color, tint of that pure hue. Okay, so this is how it works. Now temperature. So again, if you are not aware, white tends to make a color cooler. Cooler. I'm not saying cool. I'm saying cooler. See, the thing is, let's just say one neutral color, that is black, ivory black. Ivory black is supposed to have what? Brown undertone and is warm in nature. Both the color out of the tube is warm. It is not on the neutral. See, white is supposed to be neutral, but definitely there will be some kind of temperature in it, maybe a little bit on the warm side or on the cool side. Both these colors are warm, especially flake white hue, much more warmer than titanium white. Again, one more difference for you. So if you want one neutral whitest white, it would be titanium white. But if you want a little bit more warm to a white, maybe you do kind of painting where you want warmth in the overall painting, just like I did over there. But although I used titanium white because I was kind of covering the large area, so titanium white was an efficient way. But if you want warm white, it would be flake white hue. But so as I was talking, both the colors have a warm temperature to it. Now ivory black is also warm in nature. You mix it with both the colors, so you're mixing white and black. What you're gonna get? Gray. So you should get gray, a warm gray, or even a neutral gray. But what you get? You get cool gray. So why? Because white has a tendency to make the color to shift the temperature from warm or neutral to more cooler side. Now it is not going to make the color blue. It's a different thing. It is just going to shift temperature a little bit. It is going to make the color cooler. So if this is a neutral point and these are pure hues, it has a tendency to shift. Like, let's just say this is neutral, this is warm. Now which is more cooler? This one? But is it cool? I'm saying this is neutral and this is warm. But this is more cooler than this one. There is a difference between cooler and cool. Cool means literally blue. Okay, any cool color. But cooler means at least cooler than warm. You are seeing my computer screen right now, and this software is called Photoshop, and this is our screenshot, okay, of the test board in which we are testing all this color. Why? Because I'm going to explain you temperature shift in a much more mathematical way with this software. We will take help of this tool called color picker. So this is neutral gray for our reference purpose. You can see all around it, it's neutral gray. How? Saturation level 0 and brightness 50%. I want you to pay attention to all these colors that I pick, okay, and then these hue slider, which hue we are talking about, blue, green, something, and this swatch, these parameters, especially the saturation part and brightness part, okay. Pause the video, try to gain as much information as you can, okay. If you are a beginner, please skip this part. This is not for you, okay. This is much more advanced, so you really don't need this information. Well, so this is 100% neutral gray, and this is our gray card, which I said has an accuracy of up to 100%. A little bit of deviation is out to occur because of natural lighting condition. Now these are our two white, which I said has a warm tone to it. Let's test it. So I'm hovering around this titanium white, and you can see not even a single time it goes to any cool color like these, okay. Same for flake white here as well. So these are our two white, which is fairly good. Now vermilion hue on the red side, this is a hue slider on the red side, no brainer. Now black, good, saturation 0, brightness just 9, so perfect, everything is fine. This is the mixture, titanium white plus ivory black, which is supposed to be neutral. Let's see if it is. So it is not. 9 saturation level on and hue 222, that means on the blue side here. And as I click some more points, you can see not even a single time it shows me any warm hue, anything like this. Always on the blue side. Flake white hue as well. And as I come lower, the intensity of the blue also lowers, and you can see here. Try to see this one. Here it is 13, but here it is 2, 1. Here it is 8, 9. Here it is 2. Why? Because this is this mixture is less dominant than this one. This mixture is more dominant than this one. That's why the intensity of coolness here is much more than this one. So now I proved you, explained you, and maths never lie. So this is what we mean when we say temperature shift. This is not a bad part about white. This is one of the characteristics of white. How to deal with it? Well, mix a contradictory color like yellow or orange, any warm color to this, and shift back your temperature. Take back your temperature to neutral. The more warm color you mix, the more warm your mixture is going to be. Alright, alright. Now drying time. Straight up, no, I can't tell you drying time. Why? Because it is certainly not feasible. Drying time varies from region to region. It depends upon so many things like the way you paint, how thick is your paint, humidity, temperature, and there is nothing I can do about it to control the humidity and temperature of my room. Okay, I don't have a laboratory or kind of a thing to test it. Okay, so I can't tell you drying time. So if I tell you my personal experience, it won't really be, you know, informative for you. I can say it for the sake of saying, no problem, but it won't be informative because I live in a region. I live in Kolkata, India, by the way, and here temperature and humidity is always high. Okay, and now if you live in a region where temperature is low but humidity is high, she lives in a region where humidity is low, temperature is also low, he lives in a region where humidity is low but temperature is high, some kind of thing. Okay, so it's gonna vary. Okay, so but for the sake of saying, as I said, my experience, what I see is around summer these colors take 2 to 5 days to dry, but in winter, which is in December and January in here, it's kind of a summer all around the year, but in December and January a little bit of cold, and this can take up to 8 to 9 to 10 days to dry. And this is when you use this as a mask tone. That means you're not trying to mix linseed oil or turpentine, because if you mix linseed oil it's gonna take even longer, turpentine much shorter period of time, and yeah, that's just about it. Now hope you find it informative in any way, but I don't think so it's gonna help. But this is what it is. Now, so I said pretty much everything that I should. This is all I know actually. So, but still, if you have any question, you can definitely ask if you got me wrong somewhere. But there is one thing that I have to tell you. It's kind of a notice that this video is about flake white hue and not about flake white. There are two colors, different colors in the market: flake white and flake white hue. Here it is. This one. So this is flake white hue, and if this focus, okay. So flake white, and this one's flake white hue. It has a suffix hue. Does that make a difference? Oh my god, whole lot of difference. This one contains lead. So if you go in the market, you don't see flake white hue, but you do see flake white, and you feel like both the colors are the same, and you buy this one, you are buying lead. Lead, which is harmful in nature. So don't buy this one, okay? Buy this one, flake white hue. This one don't contain lead. This suffix hue tells us either the original one was expensive or it contains some toxic pigment in it. So they make a substitute synthetically or in any other way in their lab or something, and they give the suffix hue that tells us the price has been reduced or the toxicity from it has been eliminated. So buy this one. This video was about this one, not this one. Okay, so that was pretty much it. Okay, now ask question if you have, and if you feel like the information that I gave you was kind of misleading, you can definitely correct in the comments. Okay, I don't mind.